The Jet serves notice that he's up to the challenge at Malta. Mr. Smallblock returns to victory lane at Merrittville. We take the white flag with the driver doing great things both on and off the track. Hi, I'm Rodney. Nice to meet you. Have you heard about Race Pro Weekly? I love it. You should watch. Hello and welcome to another scintillating edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. 2 weeks ago at Albany-Saratoga, Mark Johnson looked destined to score his first win of the season until Kenny Tremont picked him off on a late restart. Let's head to the Great Race Place to see if the 3J could put it in victory lane. Kitty ride night at the Albany-Saratoga Speedway. My favorite night is, hey, there's the Randy Miller car number 12 machine. Wait, who's that guy behind the wheel? Pretty good looking if you ask me. I might have a career in this, as, you know, I was going, you know what, never mind. We're just going to forget I said that. Anyway, green flag will come out on the speedway as it would be Rich Rocca leading the field to the green and up into turn number 1 and 2 for the first time. Side-by-side battle for spot number 2 between Jimmy Cottrell and the 37 of Justin Barber, and here comes Hernan Tremont on the move once again in the early going of this event, as Hearn would look to get by Ronnie Johnson, that Palmer Service Center car number 2 RJ machine, and then go to work on Mark Johnson, who was looking to try to rebound from his tough loss a week ago. Johnson would go on the outside as there would be a lot of close quarter racing, as he would do whatever he could to get by Hearn as he gets into Justin Barber, going up into turn number 3 and 4, as caution will come out as Keith Flack had already spun right in front of him. Off of the restart, Mark Johnson back in front of the Jersey Jet will continue to push his way towards the front, as he would start to pass cars left and right. Meanwhile, Britton and Tremont will be coming right behind them. But the show up front was the 3J for the second consecutive week, as he would go to the inside lane to look and put the car into the lead, and he would do so. And you got to think, that's got to be all she wrote, right? Nope. Brett Hearn would find some powerful momentum on the outside lane in almost a deja vu situation. Mark Johnson will get passed on the outside lane with 2 laps to go, and Hearn would hold on for win number 3 of the season.
You know, I finally got into second and got ahead of steam on the outside, and that's what I knew what I needed to do, and I just was nipping and nipping and nipping, and we finally got that run we needed. And I think the only good thing about that race was when I finally got the lead, there was only 2 laps more to go.
Brett Hearn would pick up the victory. Mark Johnson would have to settle for second for the second straight week. Kenny Tremont would finish in third, Batman Peter Britton fourth, and Rich Rocca would round out the top 5. So far this season at Glen Ridge, 2-time and defending champion Bobby Varon has proved he is the man to beat once again after posting back-to-back victories. Could the 00 go 3 in a row? Modified action from the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park as Richie Price and Bobby Vetter would lead the field to the green in the feature event. As Price would take the early race lead, Sean Pangman trying to make his way up through the field along with the 85 of Willie Decker. Bobby Varon on the move as well as he would dart underneath the 34 of Pangman, looking to crack the top 5 early in this event. Then he would get by Willie Decker and Bobby Vetter no problem, as he would be up into the number 2 spot behind Price early and often, and you gotta think this would have been Varon's night to get 3 in a row, right? Well, as we continue to move through the field, Craig Hansen trying to get by Pangman, and wrong. Going back to Bobby Varon as something goes amiss on the 00, which would have to send him to the pits. Off of the restart, Bobby Vetter trying to get a run as they come down the back straightaway. Jeff Rockefeller in there as well, as Willie Decker now darts to the inside lane along with Jeremy Wilder, but the caution coming out for the 34 of Sean Pangman would re-rack the field once again. And now Price to the inside lane, going to have to try to fend off the 85 of Willie Decker, but with 2 laps to go, Decker gets by him and will hold on for his second win of 2015. Willie Decker grabs the victory. Richie Price would finish in second, Jeremy Wilder third, Bobby Vetter fourth, and Craig Hansen would finish in fifth. Ivan Joslin would grab the win in the Sportsman, and Cole Lawton would grab the win in the Cruisers.
It's now time for this week's Facebook fan poll question. This is an easy one. What's your favorite support class at your local track? Log on to our Facebook page at facebook.com/RaceProWeekly to cast your answer and let us know what you think. Last week, we asked you which veteran rivalry have you enjoyed watching so far this season. Pretty sure that most of you love watching Kenny versus Brett on the weekends. But it's safe to say that some like that the Doctor is a regular at Fulton on Saturdays to take on the Franklin Flyer. Coming up on Race Pro Weekly, we head to the Merrittville Speedway to see if they had their 6th different winner on the season. And we go to the D-shaped Dirt Demon for some great close quarters action. Right here on Race Pro Weekly.
Reputable. Reliable. Results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done. Just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered.
You hear the roar getting louder, and the earth starts to shake. You brace yourself. The most powerful stock cars on the planet are coming. It's the World of Outlaws late models. Bucking 800 horsepower with 4 barrels of blazing. Every night's a shootout.
The World of Outlaws Late Model Series heads to Fonda Speedway as part of the Great Northern Tour June 18th. Don't miss your chance to watch the greatest late model drivers in the country compete. The Track of Champions, Fonda Speedway, Southbridge Street, Fonda.
There's only one place in the capital region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. It's time we head back to Merrittville and visit our neighbors to the north as we find out if Boyd McTavish could go back-to-back. Last week's winner, Boyd McTavish, would have to make his way from the midpoint of the field to try to go back-to-back, as it would be Travis Miller and Chris Steele leading the field to the green for the feature up at the Merrittville Speedway. Miller would have the early race lead, and here comes Steele up on the outside lane, and now to the inside would come Mr. Small Block, Pete Bicknell, as well, as he would move into spot number 2 and then go to work on Chris Steele for the number 1 spot, as he would take that away and be your early race leader in this event. Tyler McPherson on the move along with Mark Delario and Fast Freddie Carlton in that number 96 machine as they were trying to get up towards the front. As Carlton turned it up way on the top side, riding the cushion off of turn number 4, as he would continue to move up. The fastest car on the racetrack, though, was the 71 of Mike Bowman as he would move to the inside of McPherson to take the number 2 spot away as McPherson jumps the cushion up in turn number 2, and he would lose that spot, and then Bowman would be on the move trying to run down the 22-time track champion at the Merrittville Speedway. He would close the gap off at turn number 4 and get right underneath him as lap traffic would come right in front of Bicknell for the spot, and then turning it up to the high side would be Bowman as Chris Steele slows down the front straightaway as cars would scatter, bringing out the yellow. Off the restart, Bowman with plenty of shots at him, but Pete Bicknell would hold on, picking up his first win of the season after going winless last year.
The track was in great shape. Howard did a really good job regrading it today, or actually during the week, and I got to thank all the fans for coming out. I know the weather looked iffy all night, and the drivers did a great job. You know, they kept the cars under control, and it was a great race. So really, it was just an excellent night for everybody.
Pete Bicknell with the victory. Mike Bowman would finish in second. Tommy Flanagan third. Mark Delario fourth. And rounding out your top 5 would be Tyler McPherson. Other winners on the night, Gary Lindbergh would grab the win in the Sportsman. Open wheel lights would go to Josh Slider. Mark Fawcett would grab the win in the Hoosier stocks. And Kyle Haynes in the 4 cylinders. Anytime you make a trip to the Brewerton Speedway, the number of heavy hitters in the field make things interesting on any given Friday night. As you would expect this past week at the D-shaped Dirt Demon, it would be the same. Start off by showing you Sportsman action at the D-shaped Dirt Demon as Nick Kraus makes the pass for the lead on the outside lane, and he would look to pull away, and he would pick up the feature event victory in the Sportsman division. Now we move on to the modifieds at the Speedway, as it would be Ryan Bartlett grabbing the early lead here at the D-shaped Dirt Demon as he would make a move around the outside to take the position, but Larry White was on the move, and you can bet Larry White trying not to be the only lightning to strike last Friday night. Rangers fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As he would move to the inside lane of Ryan Bartlett and look to take the race lead off by turn number 2, and he would get by him. Lightning Larry White did have a few close calls, however, as he would move to the inside, narrowly misses Rob Bellinger up into turn number 1 and 2 that time, but he would get through that no problem and skate around the outside lane and pick up the checkered flag as White grabs the win. Larry White grabs the victory. Tim Kerr would finish in second. Chris Mackey third. Vinny Vitale fourth. And Jim Whitko would round out the top 5. In the Sportsman event that we previously showed you, Nick Kraus grabbed the win. Brent Joy would finish in second. Steve App third. Alan Fink fourth. And Jordan Bennett fifth. And other winners on the night, Joe Isabel would grab the win in the Mod Lights and Chuck Pawalczyk in the 4 cylinders. Throughout 2015, Brett Hearn and Kenny Tremont have been the class of the field at Howard Commander's Valley of Speed. However, with a rain out at the Fonda Speedway, would a star-studded Invader be able to freeze them? The Invader I'm talking about, of course, is the Tab Park's own car number 1 of Stewart Friesen in the house this past Saturday night, as it would be Denny Soltis and Andy Bacchetti leading the field to the green, and taking the early race lead would be the Wild Child out of Sheffield, Massachusetts, as he would win the drag race up into the East End for the first time and carry the momentum around on lap number 1. Kenny Tremont and Brett Hearn looking to make their way through the field, as Hearn trying to get by Steve Huff on the inside line. Couldn't do it that time, but then Hearn would continue to move up as Brian Berger and Jeff Watson having great runs in the early portion of the event as well, along with the 16 of Kyle Hoffman and the 34 of Steve Huff. Berger, unfortunately, would have to come down pit road with a right rear flat tire on the number 60, and that would set up a restart where Jeff Watson would rocket out into the number 2 spot behind Bacchetti, as Kyle Armstrong in there as well. Brett Hearn would start to wheel and deal his way up through the field as he looked to crack the top 5 and now move into the number 2 spot as he would try to get by Jeff Watson for position here in the middle portion of the event. And then off of a restart, he would power to the outside and get by Watson and try to chase down race leader Andy Bacchetti. Kenny Tremont and Stewart Friesen right together as it looked as though Tremont would be held up a little bit, but then Tremont gets a little bit of steam as he would move into the number 3 spot to get in front of Jeff Watson and try to chase down your race leaders. Friesen will be caught behind Kyle Sheldon as he just couldn't get by him, but this is all behind the 34 of Andy Bacchetti, who was way out in front as he picks up the win wire to wire.
We had a great car tonight, no doubt, and Teal Pro Car was, stand up as usual. We're lacking just a little bit, and we need to come through traffic a little better, and that's where we're at.
Andy Bacchetti picks up the win. Brett Hearn would finish in second. Kenny Tremont third. Jeff Watson fourth. And Steve Huff would round out the top 5. Midweek action at the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park for the Ridge Redemption. First, the companion event would be the Pro Stock division, as Nick Stone would have the early advantage in this one. Chucky Domblewski out there along with Jim Normoyle on the top side. Justin Knight in there as well, as they would look to try to make their way up through the field. But now Normoyle with a shot at Stone at the end, but nope, Nick Stone in the RCT roofing car grabs the win. In the 60-lap main event for the Sportsman, it will be Brian Pesolano with the early advantage. Rocky Warner trying to make his way up through the field in the early going of this Grit Series event. Tony Ferrone back there along with A.J. Philback trying to make their way up through the field as caution would come out on the speedway. And off of the restart, there we go. Rocky Warner will get hooked along with Aaron Burton. Cars try to shake out. Here comes Shea Montgomery and Tony Ferrone with nowhere to go. Happy Harry Schaefer up there as well. Off of the restart, cars trying to make their moves up the racetrack as cars come together. Dom Bellin gets into it with Darrell Nutting. Then Curtis Hohenschel, nowhere to go. Derek McGrew rides along the back wall, not willingly. There's a lot of cars wrecked from this event on that particular yellow flag. Harry Schaefer would get by Ivan Joslin the next time through, as now the battle for the lead would start to ensue as Chad Edwards would look to run down the 24 of Pesolano, and he'd check him right into the boards off of turn number 4 as the 14 of Edwards would look to take the race lead away, and he would do so. And now right in front of him, trying to get some lap traffic out of the way, he says, "Get out, I'm trying to get through." And he does, as he will look to keep the race lead, trying to hold off the 24. Edwards would grab the victory in exciting fashion, taking home the Ridge Redemption. Brian Pesolano would finish in second, Dave Marcaccelli third, Harry Schaefer fourth, and Ivan Joslin would round out the top 5. In the Pro Stock feature previously shown, Nick Stone would grab the win. Jimmy Normoyle would finish in second, Justin Knight third, Luke Horning fourth, and Chucky Domblewski fifth, and Ken Hollenbeck would pick up the win in the 4-cylinder event.
When we come back, we go back to Albany-Saratoga for some wild Sportsman action, and we visit the Valley again to watch the Pro Stocks go door handle to door handle. It's all coming up on Race Pro Weekly.
Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products, race to win. Some of the music you've heard on Race Pro Weekly this week is by AJ Jansen, Country's Rebel Rose, bringing you a mixture of high-energy rock and sultry country roots. To hear more and for your free download, check out ajjansenmusic.com. Welcome back as we make one last trip back to the great race place for the Sportsman $1,000 to win Featherfoot Warrior Series event. Take you to some Sportsman action here at Albany-Saratoga. First in the heat races, Mike Ostrander going to go up and over after contact with Chris Johnson and Colin Bogus with nowhere to go. Then in the limited Sportsman, Chris Ronca goes around, Anthony Alger nowhere to go, and he does a full barrel roll up in the air. As we will get started with the Sportsman feature event, as it would be Joey Scarborough leading the field to the green in the early going of this feature. $1,000 to win on the line as a Featherfoot Warrior Series event as John Miller trying to make his way up through the field. Jack Spieshak would get into a little trouble as he would make contact with not one but two implement tires on the inside lane, which would break his front end. Off the restart, Scarborough would still be in command, but the car on the top side looking to make moves was the Birch Tree Service car number 07 of Jack Swinton, as Miller would nose out in front of him, but here comes Swinton on the outside looking with a great run. 3 wide behind him, Connor Cleveland goes as Rob Maxson spins down the backstretch. Baranowski makes contact, and Johnny Proctor goes up in the air, and then Hunter Bates with nowhere to go. Okay, we go back to green flag racing once again. Now it would be Joey Scarborough with the advantages that time. Swinton flips back a little bit, but then he would get some more momentum on the top side and reclaim the number 2 spot, and then go around Joey Scarborough looking to take the lead. Scarborough would battle him right back as they would put on a show for a number of laps with Swinton as your race leader, as Connor Cleveland would move up into spot number 3 behind him. Meanwhile, Jeremy Pitts trying to make his way up through the field, but he would spin it around to turn number 3 and 4, bringing out the caution once again for the Grennan Project Services car number 27 entry. And then off the restart, Joey Scarborough would move to the inside and take the lead outright once again in that number 38 machine. Cars still trying to make their way up through the field as Chris Johnson trying to power on the outside, but Joey Scarborough could not be beat on this night as he would take home the extra prize in the Sportsman. Joey Scarborough grabs the win. Jack Swinton would have to settle for second, Connor Cleveland third, Derek McGrew fourth, and John Miller would round out the top 5. Byron Westcott would grab the win in the Pro Stocks. Randy Miller, 4 straight in the Street Stocks. 4-cylinder single cam winner would be Robert Garney, and Steve Ryan would grab the win in the dual cam. Some full fendered action now from the Lebanon Valley Speedway as, oh yeah, there's our Grand Marshal Rodney. Yep, he's one of a kind. Race would get started with Rick Dempsey leading the field to the green in the 20-lap feature event for the Pro Stocks as cars will be on the move early. The 315 of John Ruthier and the 17 of Nick Hilt Jr. As they come down the front straightaway, they would go 3 wide, splitting Sparky Riley heading up into the east end, with Ruthier being the biggest benefactor from that. He would slide up into spot number 2 past Chad Arsenal and then would go to work on the 35 of Rick Dempsey trying to take the race lead. He would power underneath him down the back straightaway, and Dempsey trying to get back in front of him off and down the front stretch, but he couldn't do it as Ruthier would be your race leader. Meanwhile, Rob Yetman makes a little contact with the 17 of Nick Hilt Jr. that allows Jay Corbin to get underneath them both and take that spot away, and now they fight for the number 2 spot as along with Robbie Speed and Jay Corbin, they come together, and the 7 of Rob Yetman in there as well. Corbin going to go to the inside as he looks to split Speed and Dempsey as they head down the backstretch. Now on the outside lane will come Jay Corbin, but here comes the 35 of Dempsey trying to hold a spot, and Yetman now making his way up into 3rd. However, Corbin will go back around the outside and take that number 3 spot as John Ruthier will grab the victory. Rick Dempsey would win the race to the line, and Jay Corbin coming in 3rd. Rob Yetman 4th, and Robbie Speed would be 5th. Other winners on the night, it would be J.R. Hefner with the win in the 358 Modifieds. Harold Robitaille will grab the win in Pure Stock number 1. Doug Olds in Pure Stock number 2. And the Crate Street Stocks would go to Gary O'Brien. Back to the great race place we go, as it will be David Schilling leading the field of the green along with Kenny Conroy in the limited Sportsman feature event. Zach Del Rio and Mike Coffey Jr. fighting for position down the back straightaway. As cars get a little together, Mark Rabideau and the 8 of John Stoll come together. Stoll will keep it going as they head down the backstretch, but David Schilling looked to be way out in front in this one until a caution will come out for the 11 of Anthony Alger up in turn number 3 and 4. Off the restart, Curtis gets into Schilling, but with Rob Lanphier making contact with the implement tire, the caution will come out and we would revert to the last lap, keeping Schilling at the front of the field as the purple wrecker heads over to Lanphier. Off of the restart, it would be David Schilling way out in front in this one as he would pick up the win in the limited Sportsman feature. Schilling grabs the win. Curtis would finish in 2nd, Zach Del Rio 3rd, Mike Coffey 4th, and Scott Flanders would finish in 5th. Now back to the Lebanon Valley Speedway for Pure Stock number 3, the always entertaining 12-lap event. As in the early going, a lot of cars trying to make their way up through the field. The 013 of Jesse Murphy, the 57 of Gary O'Brien up there as well. As a drag race for the lead between Jeff Meltz and the 74 of Larry Perez would ensue, with Perez taking the race lead away. And now Meltz going to try to hold off Al Relier as he gets ahead of steam down the back straightaway, looking to take the number 2 spot. Cars get a little jumbled up in turn number 1 and 2. That will allow the 57 of Gary O'Brien to jump into the number 3 spot. He'd go underneath Al Relier and then go to work on Perez for the number 1 position, and he would be your new race leader as he would win the drag race to the start-finish line. Gary O'Brien now in the lead. Ray Hall Sr. and the 14 of Relier running side-by-side in this one, but it would be behind Gary O'Brien as he picks up the win. Gary O'Brien grabs the victory. Al Relier would finish in 2nd, Ray Hall Sr. 3rd, Jesse Murphy 4th, and Jason Meltz would finish in 5th.
It's now time for this week's Berkshire County Network Driver Spotlight with the driver of the number 12 Street Stock at Albany-Saratoga. Normally that'd be Randy Miller, but for a few laps on Friday, it was our very own Mike Warren. Race Pro Weekly is brought to you by Bob Hilbert Sportswear, Racing Electronics, Emmerich Associates, Tranquil Touch Healing, New England Racing Fuels, and Sunoco Fuels. Coming up, Fast Eddie talks with a veteran modified campaigner doing what he can for a cause close to his heart. And we'll hand out our NYSSCA Performer of the Week. Race Pro Weekly will be right back.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This is my main man, Tom, and my other main man, Tom.
You never know how much junk you've got until you move.
Point to something you wish would disappear.
Would it be possible to... It's gone!
All you have to do is point.
Where have you been all my life?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Where is it that going green is going strong? Where trees are planted so emissions can be cut down. Where clean ethanol blend fuels race cars and waste oil never goes to waste. Where is it that the sun comes up and we put it to work, and the passionate fans are just as passionate about helping out? Where? Nowhere but NASCAR. Learn what small steps you can take to make a big difference at NASCAR.com/green.
The Choices 301 program takes a multifaceted approach aimed at educating the public about the realities and dangers of what can happen when bad decisions are made inside a motor vehicle. Don't hesitate to designate. If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly Enduro time up at the Ridge, and that's Mike Fow in the Bobco Video sponsored car. He's, of course, one of our videographers for the show. I just want to clarify here that they watered the track before we got started, and you can see them sliding like they're taking a bath up into the corner, as a lot of cars going all over the place. Stephen Young on the outside lane, and not to be confused with NFL quarterback Steve Young, that is. And he gets into the wall up on the top side, and he's not done yet. Gets into a car and then goes head on and then flips it over. Oh boy. Anyway, a couple more cars getting into the outside retaining wall, just not being able to hold it together. But Mike Fow doing a pretty good job up on that outside lane, keeping it going. Gotta love it. Checkered flag would come out. Ron Case would go over the line sideways, but he would be your winner in the Enduro. Many drivers have something to race for in their careers, but for one driver this year, there is a big goal he is trying to accomplish. Our own Fast Eddie sat down with Brian Berger on how he is racing for cancer.
Brian, how long have you been racing modifieds here at Lebanon Valley?
This is my 25th year. I started racing back in 1990. I haven't raced every year. I took a couple years off here and there, but 25 years I've been racing, but I've been coming to the races since I was a year old, so about 43 years.
What makes you want to come back here week in week?
Well, this is really a family thing for us, you know, family and friends. This is what we do. This is what we live for. My wife, and you know, obviously comes from a racing family, and if I wasn't racing, I'd be here, and I know how much I hated it the last time I stopped racing, and you know, while I have the opportunity to race, I still want to do it.
Taking a look at your race car this year, there's a whole lot of pink on it. It says Racing for a Cure. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, actually, that last question was a good one because, you know, with my kids getting a little bit older, they're close to college years, and so I've been contemplating when it's time to start, you know, saving for that. And, you know, really, I love doing it, and, you know, I wanted to find a way to not just enjoy it myself, but to try to make a difference. Someone that's really close to me, my aunt Andrea Lancia, is fighting this disease and winning, but it's something I feel very strongly about, and I thought, you know, what better, without a major sponsor, what better opportunity than to use the, you know, the real estate we have on the car to try to make an impact on something that really matters in life. We set a goal, partnering with the National Breast Cancer Foundation, set a goal of raising $5,000 this season, and so far we're about halfway there. You know, we hope to continue the push through October, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you know, that money goes towards breast cancer awareness and helping, you know, those in need.
Going back to the racing side of things, how competitive is it here each week?
These are some of the best drivers in the world. You know, Brett and Kenny, my brother-in-law, are you know, really continue to raise the bar. But everybody else is good too. I mean, there's a lot of guys here that could win on any given night, and you know, they're really good people to race with. So I really enjoy coming out every week. You know, and I race them the way I like to be raced, and you know, we all respect each other, and that's great.
Who do you have to thank for getting you here this year?
Well, first and foremost, you know, my family, my wife, and my kids for their support. You know, really. You know, this is a passion of mine, and it's a family thing, but, you know, it's not cheap, and most of this is done on our own dime. But I also have, you know, a lot of people to thank in terms of the crew. You know, Jeff Dean came on board this year to be our crew chief, and really without our great crew, I couldn't do this because I work quite a bit. You know, Tommy Lennon, Darvin Munger, Sean Robinson, Kevin Robinson, Bob and Bob Martin. A whole bunch of guys that do a great job for us week in and week out. And then our sponsors, Williams and Kingsley Auto, Gary Asphalt Reclaiming, they've been a big help, as well as, you know, also Boomer's Performance and BC Designs came on board this year and really helped me out with the website, so I really appreciate all their help.
If you'd like to help Brian with his Racing for a Cure campaign, log on to his website at phase3racing.com and click the banner at the top of the page.
It's now time for this week's NYSSCA Performer of the Week, and with picking up 4 straight victories on the Albany-Saratoga Oval, this week goes to street stock competitor Randy Miller. Randy is now eligible for the NYSSCA Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the season. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Amber Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.